Read. Had your gobs. Public service announcement from Fatster's economy lad. All the crap coming is read. But didn't ask when war Sloggs and Dan or a couple of doylums that canna use the netty proper, let alone find their arse from their elbow, so gan canny. All the pictures taxed them from all hour, so cheers to all the hinnies who hide them out there. So all canny here over the dirt, so if you didn't like it, like me granny used to say, it's nice to be nice, if you can't be nice, fuck off. Didn't let the bairns listen to this unless you want them to go on proper rage and mental. Reap man, pet man, this is one of them D as I say, not as I D moments. If ye want to copy us, Divin come running to us after with a broken leg. Cheers, bairns, gan canny.
I've gone to bloody Just You view on gallery.
Surely that's the best
That's
view.
what we want.
Don't get better than that, does it? Have you got me on a projector screen?
Yeah. 7-foot projector screen. It's the only way I can make your penis look normal size.
I'm assuming you got my volume down and low as well, though. Volume low, penis enlarged.
That's it. Mate, basically, just the entire screen is a backdrop of chips and your cock.
Cock and chips.
So, but that only leaves space for like 2 chips.
What was this business then?
that's me putting salt on it.
Oh.
So
right, let's get into this, man.
Right, come on, yeah. My name's Dan Watson.
My name's Paul Sloggett. Welcome to the Dirt. Good episode tonight, hopefully. Looking forward to this.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight for your viewing and audio pleasure, we have the delights of Mr. Emlyn Bainbridge. Let's get him into the chat. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, dude?
Good, thanks.
Good.
Still trying to work out why I look so purple. Maybe I'm just purple.
Maybe. Purple about, although I'm quite red-faced at the moment after Saturday on the hill.
Oh yeah, looking good. I'd say tanned.
Welcome to the show, dude. Thank you for coming along and giving us a little bit of your time.
Yeah, having me. Got a very creaky chair.
That's all right. We'll make sure we accentuate that every time you move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I've been wanting to have you on for a little while. I want to have a lot of people on. But yeah, I find you quite interesting, Emlyn. I find you quite interesting.
Said the stalker to his victim.
Oh God.
I've had the pleasure of spending a bit of time with you recently, and we've filmed that little lapse video that has just gone up the other week. Got to know you a little bit better then. But I think you've got something, as with all the guests and with every person in mountain boarding that I've ever experienced, everybody's got something to give a little bit different to the next person. And that I'm thankful for the Dirt to bring out. I mean, I suppose we've all got our own little origin stories, but also things going on outside of the Dirt, you know, like and mountain boarding. Last week's episode with Aidan, you know, and he's got the horse boarding thing going on, and Pete Tatham as his I was about to make a chisel and hammer thing, but I don't think you do that with bronze, do you? But yeah,
because I know Aidan's a blacksmith as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, everybody seems quite busy, which is nice, isn't it? It's proof of the motivation, and I think why a lot of the people who still do mountain boarding do is because they're motivated individuals generally.
Definitely. Restless.
But yeah, enough banging on about the scene as a general. We're here to talk about you, David.
Cool.
So if you would indulge us with a few moments about your backstory, as such, give us a bit of where you're from and how you cut your teeth as such.
Yeah, cool. Well,
so, before we get that, how old are you now, Emlyn?
26.
Good question, Sloggett. We are off to a flyer here. Good question.
It's important to know that, because then you know when you go backwards to the origins, you sort of know whereabouts you were in that sort of. Mainly,
I've thought it for a while, and every week I forget to think. Like we should say, say what's your name, where you come from. But yeah, an age is a good thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm Emlyn. I'm 26, 5'7". No, I'm from Chalford Hill, which is a little village near Stroud in Gloucestershire. Lived there for most of my life before going to uni in Bristol. Then I went back to Chalford Hill after uni. Now I'm back in Bristol. So just the two hometowns. But,
so you're pretty much a West Country boy then at heart.
Yeah, definitely. I like a bit of countryside. And so yeah, where I started mountain boarding. Do you want to know that?
Yeah, well, yeah. I suppose maybe. I mean, we could just bimble on, chatting the cud as such.
Yeah. Let's get into it. So I think the first time I tried mountain boarding was in Chalford Hill. I've got a place called the Barley Fields, which I'll come back to, but loads of my friends got aboard like for their birthday, I think when we were around like 9 or something. Well, about 3 or 4 friends. And it was just like one of those things, I think, that you got like, if you were lucky, you got like something like a skateboard. But I think Argos had like, I don't know, probably a bit of a spotlight on the mountain board in their catalogue at some point one year. So yeah, like 4 people got one. So I had to go on my friends. I really wanted one. I like asked for it loads, but the only time I had to go, I like fell off straight away. So my parents, I don't know.
What board was it? Can you remember what it was?
Not sure. I remember that guy had. I can't remember. Did Ride the Hill make boards?
Yeah. Funny you should say that, because I've just changed this evening the backdrop, the board, and there is the Ride the Hill.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was the first one I went on, but that guy did have one of those at some point. My friend Freddie. So I tried it once. I can't remember. I think I must have been 9 or 10. Like fell off, but still had a laugh. Just down a tiny little grass slope in a field, and then probably 2 years later, I still wanted one. Like I was still interested in it, and I had started skating by that point. We just like rode around the village, kind of 4 or 5 of us. Just like there was like a route that we'd always bomb down past everyone's houses, like past the school and stuff, on our skateboards. Like a year later, we realised that you could do tricks and stuff, and discovered like companies like Almost, and got obsessed with Rodney Mullen, stuff like that.
Cheese and crackers videos and stuff.
Yeah, or round 3.
Round 3, yeah.
Yeah, and then my friend was having his birthday over at Bugs, so I went over for that, like really excited. Had a lesson with Joe Dixon. Obviously I didn't know who anyone was at the time. And then I think straight away we were like, because we'd got so into skateboarding so quick, we were quite confident. We were like trying the rails and the kickers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, got so stoked when we first went over a rail, because you could ride on them at Bugs, which is good. And then I reckon it was that session that Bugs or Nina or AJ gave me BFC DVD like this. And then I think we all got, there were probably 3 of us that went to that day. We all kind of took it home, watched it, and straight away I was like, got on Gumtree with my dad looking for a board. And I got a Mindless, who make the longboards. They did a few mountain boards, I think. I've seen one recently that was quite similar to my one. So I got one of those, just like probably similar to that Ride the Hill one, just kind of wooden deck. Didn't have, I think it had skate trucks, Velcro bindings. That was it, all you needed. And then those friends that had already got the boards ages ago, I was like, come on, let's get them out again. Just rounded everyone up, and we'd just go to the barley fields down this one little straight grass slope that mellowed out. Yeah, just working out how to stay up at first, and then got the black kicker out, the Argos kicker, trying grabs, filming on our little phones that we just got because we were like 11 and 12 or whatever. I think this was just after we'd finished primary school, so it was like that summer where no one really knows what to do before secondary school.
Yeah.
We'd go every single day. Like, there'd be an argument at the end of the session about the ramp every time. Who was going to carry the ramp or something? There was the guy that owned the ramp wanted to go home and we wanted to carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was happy times. And then went back over to Bugs. And then I think I just started going more and more. But also, sorry, it's a bit of a long origin story.
No, it's not. No. We're in good.
I don't really know when it was. I think it was in between. I think there was one more time before I went to Bugs for the first time where I had a go on my friend's board, which was a green Atom one. Because I remember he had it for ages. Over at a place called Mizardon near Stroud. And it was quite a good spot, still is, because it's just like kind of undulating hill, like sheep graze it and stuff. But there's this tarmac private road that goes through the whole, it's like an estate. And then I really confidently was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go around that corner on the road, like quite a nice corner. And I've been there quite a few times recently, just walking around, and it still looks quite fast, like especially on a proper board with loads of air in your tyres now. But it probably wasn't too fast at the time, but got around the corner fine. And I was like, oh fuck, what do I do now? There's a cattle grid at the bottom of this road. No one's told me how to get off or like how to stop. So I did what everyone does when they haven't had a lesson.
Oh no.
Jump out the binding. Yeah, just jump out the bindings. Your feet are still like sideways. Just flew onto the tarmac and the gravel, and it's pretty much gone now, but it's like one of those scars. I think that one. It was just this big hole in my arm. And then so that was probably 15 years ago. And I think 3 years ago I kept picking at this thing in my arm, and this tiny little stone finally came out.
Did it? Oh, nice.
Second time I ever went mountain boarding.
Oh,
so
no.
That's a bit of a souvenir. I think I put it somewhere, but I don't know where. I should kind of like embed it into my board.
Lacquer it in there.
So yeah, that didn't put me off. I think actually when I got the new board, when I got my first board, it was my own. That's the first place I went, to Mizardon. I was like, yeah, got to go back there and beat it this time. Didn't go over the cattle grid though.
We assume you did then.
No, I didn't touch that road. That was just
a right
idea. I went on the grass this time, like you're meant to on a mountain board.
Yeah.
I leave the road for my skateboard.
That's the way.
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of watching that DVD like this and seeing that Joe Dixon was on there after he just like taught me. I was like, oh wow, these people are kind of, it's way more to it than just going down a hill for a friend's birthday party. It's like they're going around the country, they're doing loads of different tricks, they're obviously having loads of fun, and that was the main thing about that DVD. Was like, I think it got quite a lot of people stoked.
Certainly your generation of rider, if you will.
Yeah,
all seem to quote those videos.
Yeah, I was listening to Amon's episode, and our stories are pretty similar, but I wasn't lucky enough to have a park in my garden. Although I have tried.
Fair enough. We have actually got a question from Amon.
Yeah.
If you want to hear it, even though he's just been with you, maybe he's told you what he's sent in.
No, he was like, "Should I tell you, and then you can prepare?" And I was like, "No, that defeats the point, doesn't it? It's got to be spontaneous."
Okay. Let me find it for the wording, although I've got it.
So while he's trying to find that, what was you and Amon up to today then?
Yeah, jumping right forward. We went to. Well, I was going to go. Basically, I've had a really busy weekend, which maybe we'll get into. And then I just really wanted to go riding today, but I was in Stroud with no boards. So I drove back down to Bristol, grabbed my boards, said to Amon, like, all right, I thought he'd still be at Bugs after Mount Fest. And I was going to go up and like help build and maybe ride over there. And then he was like, oh no, I'm meeting Steve and all of these Welsh e-boarders and Sonny at Minch and Hampton Common. So grabbed the e-board as well and went up there, had a little ride around. It's Sonny's first time, and he's heard a lot about it. He was not very impressed.
Is he ever impressed?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, pretty fun. And then we went for a little skate just now, and then to the pub. And I was kind of like downing a pint, trying to get back here in time.
Well, we're on it. There's a picture of you
There we are.
having a drink in said pub, however long ago. Yeah. So Amon's questions is what skills park?
Who knows? Who knows what skills park is? No, it's a bit of a running joke, basically. A load of us went to Slovenia, as you probably know, for the World Championships or something. Yeah, I think it was the Worlds. Me, Amon, and Will Fox made a bit of a road trip out of it. Went down through like Wani, went through a bit of France, a bit of Germany, just camped in loads of places, through Italy as well. And then on our way, we went through Switzerland too, and saw that there was this big skate park. I can't remember what the town was called, but it's near Zurich, I think. Yeah, this skate park, from what we'd seen online, just looked awesome. I think we'd seen someone mountainboarding there. Basically, it's got this massive airbag. It's not really like the Brind's airbag, not that kind of like bouncy castle type thing. It was more like a big pillow. And that's the first time any of us had ridden an airbag. It had like 3 different takeoffs. And then just like really good skate park as well. You could actually, if it wasn't that busy, you could drop in, do some like bike jumps, go into a bowl, come back out, do some more bike jumps, and then hit the airbag down this massive rolling. And we were actually on the way, I had a really sprained ankle from trying to double backflip at Ramp World, landing upside down. The board just like forced my, like, I don't know, just twisted my ankle, the weight of the board. So I couldn't really ride it much on the way there, and it was gutting, and Amon was killing it, and Will. Then my ankle kind of recovered after riding and drinking in Slovenia. So on the way back, we went there with Dav and had a really good session, like some of the best feeling tricks I've done, because you just get so much air and you can just land anywhere, because it was like, I don't know, 20 meters wide or something. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but very wide. Anyway, because it was so good, when we were in Slovenia and when we came back, we were banging on about it loads. Obviously, Sonny was very jealous, but his way of showing it is just like making out that we're absolutely obsessed with it. He's just like, what skills you got, mate? So that's the running joke that Sonny's trying to find out what skills Park is.
Oh, well, I wish I'd known that. That's obviously jumped forward a bit on your timeline there. But hey ho, it is what it is. He does also have another quick question now. I'm assuming it's a quick question.
We'll see.
How comes you manage to outshop everyone whenever you go shopping with everyone?
Well, I was going to say because I'm vegan, but that's not true because me and Amon have been shopping together for years at like festivals and mountainboard competitions. I just know what I want. I just know what's good for kind of camping.
Fair enough.
I reckon what it is actually is because at uni and like always, actually, me and my friends used to always go to Tesco on the way to the skate park. So I just got loads of experience of getting like stuff you can eat in the outdoors. Everyone else is kind of trying to find stuff you can cook. Yeah. I've always already grabbed my flatbreads and my sandwich.
Go picnic job.
Yeah. I don't really get anything you can cook. I can't be bothered when I'm camping.
Wise moves. Why would you? Well, fair enough. Thank you for those, Amon. And I'm assuming he's going to keep cropping up in conversation a bit.
Yeah.
Because so you've got your own board. You've been riding. You've done your summertime before big school.
Yeah.
And
at some point, I snapped the board. If we had a drop about that tall that we'd do loads of tricks off, like on the village green by the bus stop. I mean, I say loads of tricks. We did a 180 about 1,000 times, so loads of 180s, and that eventually snapped it. And then, I think it was quite a good crew of us in the village, like 5 people.
Were you terrorising the village, or like were all the local old people pretty cool about it?
Yeah, they were cool about it. The field where we rode the most had a horse in for like half the year, so I don't think it was there that summer, but it was called Psycho Horse, so we'd avoid that when it was in there. Had a bad rep.
That's probably because of people like Sloggs.
Trying to bareback ride it through the village.
Oh, he definitely doesn't go into the situation protected.
I'll stay well away from horses. Not my thing, man. So was Bugs your local centre, the closest centre to you then?
Yeah, so Chalford is about 40 minutes from Bugs on a good day. So my poor old parents, and so there was Ben, Freddie, Angus and Matty. They were the 5 of us that would ride the most. We'd kind of all share lifts over there. So when there were 5 of us, the parents spread it out quite a bit. But so at some point we started going to Bugs more and more and more, like most weekends. And I don't know, what did I get? I think I went on eBay and got a Comp 16 Pro, the long kind of bluey one. And it was way too big for me at that point because I was still 12, I think. And now looking back, I wish I still had it because it's actually a pretty good board. But the whole time I had it, I was too small for it, but still gave it a go. So we'd go quite a lot, and then I think so Angus and Matty both broke their arm, and I think it was when we just made the board across as it is now at Bugs, and it's got that really long berm right at the end, or the second to last one, the fastest bit.
Final straight,
yeah. They on different occasions they both broke their arm on exactly the same spot on that berm.
Oh no!
So that kind of put them both off a bit. They had the same board and everything. They broke their arm in exactly the same place. It was weird. Yeah, that put them off a bit. But me, Ben, and Freddie were still dead keen. Ben and Freddie went to the Fat Face Night Air when it was last on Bugs. So that must have been 2007 or something. Around then, we can maybe check that. But
Brind will do that for us.
Yeah,
Spreadsheet.
Anyway, I think I actually drove past it on my way back from holiday, but me and my parents were all pretty tired, and I think it was raining, so we were like, there won't be much on. Turns out they still had the event in the rain. It was like when they first built the big drop, and Rennie won because he like just sent the drop and just still managed to do huge threes, even though it was like soggy dirt. So it looked like a good event. I was gutted I missed it, but those guys went. Ben got like a really reduced, what were they called? Was it Core 95 or something?
Right.
I think, yeah, it was like the Fat Face branded one.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I think Amon was saying he got the same one actually because they were selling them off cheap because Fat Face was going to pull out. Anyway, yeah, Ben got one of them. We were all really jealous, kind of realised that MBS were like still making boards, so we all wanted one like that. And anyway, I still had my Comp 16 thing. Kept riding at Bugs, starting to do the big jumps, like, you know, especially with those jumps, it was kind of land halfway over and you pretty much stop, buckle your knees and then carry on.
Yeah.
But it's fine, you just bounce. So we thought we were ready for the World Freestyle Championships, otherwise known as Battle of Bugs at that point, because it was when Fat Face pulled out. And yeah, that was eye-opening. It was amazing. I think there weren't that many of us in the juniors, but me, Ben, Amon, Mick, a guy called Pete Howell, who was really sick. He'd ride at Bugs all the time. And maybe one other person, but it was only like 5 or 6 of us. Quite a few people in the pros still. Yeah, Tom Kirkman won. He was like doing rodeos over the biggest jump there and crazy shit like that.
I'm trying to think if Mick was in your age category as well.
Yeah,
he'd have. I mean, 2007. He'd have probably been pulling pretty tasty tricks himself by that point.
Yeah, he was
going big as the wee nipper that I remember him as.
Yeah, obviously those jumps are pretty big, and at that point he was doing the big drop, doing 3s and 5s over the jumps, and probably flips. And so was Pete Howell, who was the other Bugs rider. Probably just not as big as Mick and Steezy. And still Steezy was good. So we looked up to him, similar age, I think, but he'd just been riding a bit longer. So yeah, I came 3rd, and then I think followed by Amon and Ben. Can't remember which way around. And yeah, that was sick. Won a pair of Etnies. I was kind of like, oh, nice. Kind of thinking maybe every mountain board competition was like that. Like, oh, I don't have to go shopping again.
I am, as a 12-year-old, I am living the pimp lifestyle now. I got my new treads.
Yeah.
They're going to get like on Monday morning when I go to school and the bigger kids tread on them.
I know, I would have been kicked out of school for wearing anything other than black shoes. I think I did actually try and wear them. No, like, that's purple on those shoes. Yeah, and then that was the first competition.
So you didn't bother with the UK champs? You just went straight in for the Worlds?
Don't think I knew about them because at that point, Bugs was like kind of the only place I knew, and they weren't doing them at Bugs. They've only kind of recently started doing them at Bugs again. I don't know if they did in the past.
Well, there are a few events that I remember being at Bugs, but it wasn't. I don't know why it didn't get used as much as some of the others.
I think before they built that board across, it was quite a short track. Well, only a few berms. It was quite fun though. The one over the back used to be pretty good. Yeah, that's probably why they built the new one, so you got a bit more of a run. Yeah, and then I kept riding at Bugs, and then we kind of started to manage to persuade our parents to, you know, come to Hereford, come to Malvern.
Take you further afield.
Yeah, you can go on a lovely walk. Oh, it's lovely up there. Yeah. So yeah, Court Farm and out to Grass we start to go to a bit more. And they're not that far from Bugs really. What's it called? Red Hill. Red Hill Extreme. It's like near the Forest of Dean. Don't know if you've been there. That was a mountain board centre, but like it's quite not very well known, I think. It wasn't very far from Bugs, but I've been there quite a few times. But then it became like a really good bike park. Not sure if they're going to open this year though, because they really struggled last year and like with lockdown. Anyway, yeah, we started to go further afield, and then discovered the UK Championships. Kind of rinsed all the videos because at that time it was like Tom and Mick were still riding a lot, doing more and more videos, getting more into filming. Then it was like, what were they called? Project Doc, was that what it's called? Project Documentation. That was like Theo Ackworth, Matt Brind, Ben Rye.
Right.
I think Josh Maddox, that kind of scene. So, yeah, it was the time of like WordPress. People kind of like had their own website that they'd update with new videos.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was always getting excited. Yeah. No, I mean, it kind of just continues the same from there, really.
Well, I think certainly from our perspective, I think you've been a little bit modest there, Emlyn, because I think you've had some successes at the UK champs, haven't you, over the years? You know, definitely podiums here and there and such. I think I'm right in saying that you was on the MBS Pro demo team for a while.
Yeah.
I think I'm right in saying that you've done a few festivals, maybe did you do a white air or anything like that?
Yes. Well, no, it was Camp Festival when we started doing it. They'd moved onto the mainland.
Right.
Yeah.
Did AJ take you under the wing at Bugs a little bit? How did because you're there week in, week out. I'm assuming Amon's now on the scene. What, we're talking 14, 15, that? Because you guys started to make your own videos as well, didn't you? With
yeah. So I suppose the next part of the story, is AJ and Bugs just being really supportive, and Nina. So we started going there so much. It's funny because I didn't even see Amon there that much, but I know he did go quite a lot. But we always seemed to kind of miss each other. But actually, he lived and still lives like 2 hours away, whereas we lived 40 minutes away. So we'd go every weekend. But we were still we'd progress at the same level all the time. So it was me and Ben Searle, that is, who still rides about once a year. You'll see him at some point this year. And Freddie Wise. And Freddie was getting pretty sick, but then, I don't know, he just went off it a bit. So me and Ben were the core Chalford riders. And yeah, we'd just go as much as possible. Always like, we all started filming on just like family camcorders and stuff. I just had like a little digital camera. Just got really into the filming side of it. And yeah, AJ was just like always really supportive. And yeah, especially Nina. She was just really keen to start like a little team of younger riders and stuff. I think we did like a membership thing for a bit. So we paid like £200, and then you get
to go ride whenever you want.
Yeah,
a freedom pass.
Yeah, that's what we used to call them, freedom passes, wasn't it? Ride the hill.
Yeah. So they tried that out, and then we did that for a year, and the next year they're just like, don't worry about it, just wear the t-shirts, competitions and stuff. So yeah, that was really nice.
Foot in the door.
Yeah.
Just petrol money for your mum and dad then.
Yeah, exactly. And food, some good food shops. Yeah, so me and Ben would get shipped off as part of the Bugs team to the to all the ATBA competitions and cream teas, and I think there might have been a couple more worlds, or maybe one more worlds in the UK.
So did you go off with the team, or did you still go with your mum and dad, or did you just go off with all the lads and like with AJ and that lot?
No, I wish. I think there was sometimes talks of that, but it was with mum and dad, one of the pairs of parents.
Just to keep an eye on you.
Well, it was just AJ and Bugs always were super busy with Bugs boarding, and still Bugs is, because it's just always had a lot of people learning. So they were pretty dedicated to that, and they were the people that would have driven us, but they stayed there most of the time.
On site.
Yeah. So yeah, we went independent.
So they're still going.
Yeah, I think so.
Hard work and commitment, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but like when we'd ride at the competitions, it was Joe Dixon representing Amon, and then a few more people as we grew up a bit more. Yeah, and then fast forward a bit more after doing quite a lot of competitions and loving them. Amon got on the MBS team because he won cream teas, which he's said about, and me and Ben obviously thought that was awesome. And then I think a year later or something, we were just sessioning the jib at Bugs, and AJ was like, "Oh, you guys have actually got really good, haven't you? You're really good. Let's get you on the team." And we were like, "No way!" Dreams come true. I think we were probably it was us and Mark Hale as well at the same time. He'd been spotted as the one to watch. No, not Mark Hale. Mark Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were probably the last people in the UK to get on the MBS team.
So how old do you reckon you were then?
I think that was just after I stopped juniors, so 16, 17.
And
16,
what sort of tricks and stuff like that? What was your standard of riding by that point? Because those demo ramps were quite.
Yeah,
it's been quite an intimidating thing, going from just riding Bugs every weekend and the odd other competition to now you're actually going out in front of people on this big ramp.
Yeah, definitely. So that is skipping in quite a bit, but we'd done so many of these competitions as juniors, ridden quite a lot of different dirt jumps by that point. So I think I had maybe done a 7 by then, and had can't really remember when. I remember the day when I learnt cork 5s and rodeos on the same day. They're basically the same trick, aren't they? And
oh yeah, basically.
I definitely could do them. I remember doing them on the demo ramp, but that was probably a few years after I started doing the demo ramp. Right. So I think when we started MBS, it was like quite big 3s, always front side for me and back side for Ben. Right. And we had flips by then. It took us ages to learn flips because some people learn them before 3s. I don't know. We just did 3s first. That was probably the way it was set up at Bugs, probably led us to spin rather than flip. But we finally learnt them with some help from Brind.
he is good for some things. Did he get his whiteboard and marker out to give you some tips?
No, not quite. Probably drew in the mud or something. What we did actually is quite a good way. Well, we were lucky to learn them this way. Do you remember the net that they used to have at Bugs?
Yeah.
The old foam pit.
Oh my goodness. Do you know, I was sitting there thinking, well, yeah, why was that? Because they didn't have a foam pit, but you're right, they had that whacking great big like spider's web.
Yeah.
Like hanging.
It's like War of the Worlds, like loads of telegraph poles and then cargo net. Big bags of foam rather than just foam, because obviously the foam would fall through the net if it was loose. So you'd land like between two bags, your wheels would go in the net, your head might go through the net, you had to untangle your board. Loads of people would I remember all my friends losing their phones and stuff if they had them in the pocket.
It's an incentive to land a trick at least.
Yeah, but
even if you land it wheels down, you're still going. Everyone's at the top of the hill just fucking looking at their watches, waiting for you to get out of there.
Exactly. You want a belly flop. That's the safest thing to do. Because whenever I landed a trick, I had to tug my board out for ages. But anyway, we had this like kicker that we'd call the 4-foot. But now I don't know if it's 4-foot because that sounds quite small. But anyway, we dragged that over there, put it by the foam pit, did it a few times to foam, which we'd already done quite a few times just messing around. And then took it back to the dirt landing. It was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Just same motion. I think we landed them like first try because of that, which is cool. An amazing feeling flipping for the first time. It was cool being. It was like the end of the MBS team, I think, when I think we did the demo ramps for about 2 or 3 years. So I probably only did there weren't that many. I probably did 5 events. I think Ben did 2. Amon maybe did about 3 or 4. And that was with Matt, Joe, Tom Reed came to one, no helmet, can of beer, front flip straight away. It was crazy. Didn't spill any of his beer.
Did the front flip with the beer in hand?
Yeah. Crazy. I don't think Tom Kirkman and Mick and that lot were doing the demos by then. Yeah. And they were maybe just still messing around, but I remember quite a crucial point at one of the ATBA competitions where the competition was happening, like the freestyle or something. And one of them, I think it was Tom, just dropped in. He wasn't entering, but he just dropped in and just started riding kind of down the course, just having fun without a helmet on. And that was the divide between the kind of them just pissing about and kind of having fun and the more serious. It's never really serious, but the more structured side of competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
All the organisers, I think Roger Swanell and people got pretty pissed off with him at that point. And I can't really remember him riding with him that much after then. They'd still post
I mean, you talked like I said. I suppose we have jumped ahead a bit here, thinking about your times there. I'm assuming not only were you influenced by the BFC at the time, you'd have been of age to have been influenced by the ATC productions and what they were putting out. Because you started to you made a few films yourself, haven't you? I got a credit where it's due. Ruddy Marvelous is exactly what it says on the tin.
That was definitely our magnum opus. That was when we were all pretty dedicated. But to be honest, especially me, I was kind of we're gonna make this big film. I mean, it wasn't overly ambitious, but I was just delegating, getting everyone to film enough for their parts. Mm-hmm. The director, I suppose. The history of like you say, there was ATC Productions, there was BFC, there was that one I said, Project Doc.
Project Doc.
I think some other little teams, but they rather than. So I think in your day you kind of just had like teams, people who just wanted to go and ride, and you a bit like a club, I suppose.
Yeah.
And with this, they were all called like productions because it was like it was all about the filming as well.
I think with us as well, we didn't really have the technology. Everything looked like it was fucking filmed on a potato. So when there was an edit put together, unless it was done like professionally with like a lot of money put behind it with decent technology, if it was just us trying to throw shit together, it just looked fucking awful.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I guess Jack Johnson must have got a decent camera from somewhere, because that was one of the first that I've seen, like a UK video that was kind of
one of like the first like sort of like natural like riders video rather than like produced from an outsider producing the riding sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we were always, like I said, we started with just like tape camcorders and just like little digital camcorders. And me and Ben had this little, we'd call ourselves Wopties, and we had like a few YouTube videos just of us like doing nose rolls around the village and stuff. We had like, I think our biggest video on YouTube, it's called like Street Mountainboarding. And it's not really street mountainboarding because we're in a village on a road with like gravel and potholes, just doing like 180.
Really urban, really edgy urban mountainboarding.
That was as street as it got for us. Well, I'll try not to go too off topic, but on a side note, Chalford is also where Mark Hale's from, so he saw some of our videos later down the line. And when I went to the Edge, I remember him coming up to me and he was like, "Oh, it's Emlyn, isn't it? You're from Chalford, aren't you?" And he's like, "I'm from Chalford. You were riding in the park where I like started mountain boarding, where I grew up." I thought that was mad. Like,
just blew your mind.
This guy that had gone off and rode a mountain board centre was doing. Owned a mountain board centre was. He was like riding all the same little bits of grass as us. At the same age.
Obviously, Mark Hale there.
Yeah.
Although he didn't make the MBS team, he was in your story.
Yeah. Sorry, Mark. I'm sure if you'd wanted to be on the MBS team, if you didn't have your own amazing team.
That's it.
So we had Wopties first. I think Ben's idea when we were about 11 or 12 was that he kept saying, well, you've got 180s and you've got 360s, 540s. Well, what T's are we? That's what he said. That was like a slogan. I still don't get it.
Not many adults get 12-year-olds.
No. Yeah, I probably got it at the time. Yes, that's it. We made a stencil. I had it on my bedroom wall for ages. Because we all got into spray painting at the time, but because we were in a village and we were riding down roads of gravel and potholes, we just spray paint our bedrooms rather than the bus stop. So I had that on my wall.
No, there wasn't even a bus stop, just a request stop. No bus shelter. No.
Oh no, the bus shelter was the spot. Like I said earlier, that was where this little drop was. the epicenter of the village. So it went from Wopties, and then it was I think we just do stuff on our own, like YouTube and Vimeo. And I got a Canon 550D because I was going to do photography at college, so just after school when I was about 16, I think. I got this DSLR called a Canon 550D, which was like the entry level one, and I remember like Tom Kirkman had it, and I think Jack Johnston had one, Theo Ackworth had one. So I was like, well, that's like the best affordable camera then. If they've got it, then it's definitely good enough for me. And it was good. Yeah, I used that for quite a while. So we made a lot of videos with that. Ben had this like funny little slow-mo camera. That's another good story. There was one of the competitions at Bugs. Ben broke his wrist. He was just going up the quarter pipe. He's quite used to doing a 180 on it, but he had too much speed. He didn't want to try and 180 at the top, especially because he'd go backside. So he did a rock, but he hadn't done it before and kind of freaked out and just fell to the bottom, broke his wrist. This guy had filmed it in slow-mo, and then he like really wanted to show Ben his wrist like snapping in slow-mo. At the time, Ben was just feeling really queasy, like had to go to the hospital, but then ended up actually buying that same camera like a few months later.
What, the camera that filmed him? Or
not,
just no,
the same model, yeah. That was funny. So yeah, we'd film loads of stuff at Bugs around the village still. I've looked back at them recently and realised there were probably about 3 or 4 tricks in the videos. And they were like 3-minute videos, mainly of like flowers. And, yeah, we might repeat stuff. I was a bit against it, but Ben sometimes did.
If you watch the BFC videos, you'll see.
Yeah,
I don't think they're. I think it's quite a common in joke amongst themselves that the frontside free is well overused, shall we say, in certain areas of videos.
Well, the frontside 3, I think if it's not just the same clip, you can do a frontside 3 as many times as you want in a video. I think there were videos that I've watched where it's just every variation of a frontside 3, but
this is it. You can make them look very different.
Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of what we did. A lot of board slides. And then Joe Diamond was a guy who kind of worked at Bugs. Bugs and Nina kind of took him under their wing when he was fairly young, and he's now got like I think 1 kid and a wife. He's flown the nest basically, but he was always at Bugs, and he got pretty good at. He used to just ride, but mainly help out. But his speciality was Smith grinds, which was cool. So we made a video of him, and he was called Joe Diamond. So we started a new phase called Diamond Productions, and that's when we I think our videos got a lot better at that point. Yeah, and then skipping forward more was when we started riding with Amon a lot more again, and a guy called Connor Tyson messaged me, Ben and Amon religiously about mountain boarding and stuff, and we were like, look mate, you're really enthusiastic and you seem really nice, but you should come mountain boarding with us. And he was obsessed with it, and he did mountain board with his friend Will, but then finally they turned up at Bugs and we all just got on really well. And then at competitions we always hung out with Matt Wright, who had featured in one of the Tom Kirkman videos. So we were a bit in awe of him because he was 12 at the time of the video that he was in, and he did this really steezy backflip, and we were like, what the fuck, we were still doing 180s when we were 12 off an Argos kicker, and that was like such an achievement. But yeah, he was sick for his age, and I think he rode until he was probably about 17 maybe, and still really good. So it was us 6. Ben, me, Amon, Connor, Will, and Matt Wright. We were all into riding, into filming, loved Bugs, although Matt Wright was mainly, I think Will would go to ride the hill quite a bit. He lived in High Wycombe. And Matt Wright was further south, so he'd go to Haredown. But we still met up at competitions and at bugs, and then we started. So Amon had his backyard set up, and so did Will. And that's where they held the RBYJS, the Remolition series backyard thing. So we'd all, we'd just meet up as much as possible, and I think we made like 6 or 7 videos, and they're banging, if I do say so.
They are. It's got to be said, they are full of stoke. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were really fun.
Despite their, they've aged well.
Yeah,
they still look good. You know, for what age you were at that time, I think you was bang on par to being the good riders that you guys have come to be in your adulthood.
There's definitely tricks in those videos that I would either couldn't do now or would struggle to do, because especially as in one of them, it was all about just trying to be as creative as possible. We were all like moving rails while someone was about to ride it and stuff, and doing like jumping out of our boards, doing a flip and then jumping back in.
It does bring us nicely onto a question from Matt Wright.
Oh yeah.
Who has very graciously messaged into, well, not to me, but he has messaged in. Thanks, Matt, for being a part. Spoiler alert, Emlyn knows the question, but the community don't. His question is, favourite Daydream Productions film?
Well,
would you say your as you put it earlier, your magnum opus?
Obviously, that one is probably the best kind of overall like showcase, and it's a bit more of an epic maybe, because there's different parts and like it's fairly long. But I do have a problem with that, is that I put, to make my part the length of the song, I put quite a lot of slow-mo, especially on clips where I'm just like not doing much. It probably came across as kind of egotistical for some of the clips.
You didn't choose a Pink Floyd song, did you? Like 12 minutes long.
I think there were actually 2 songs.
two Pink Floyd 12 minutes.
You could have cut it down. So that means that it's still a good video, but either the one I was just talking about, which is called Matt Wrong and Emlyn Bainbridge, which is where we were moving the rails about at Will's place. So that's the most creative, and it feels like I like that one because it's kind of all the clips. It's quite consistent because we just filmed it all in one day. Or Spring Bangers is quite good. I think that's one of the last ones we did. It's just bangers. I think it's got Matt and Andy in as well.
Are these all on YouTube now? Have you put them all onto one platform, or are they still like all over the shop on different?
They're all on Vimeo, the ones that I can remember anyway. So maybe I'll get the time to find them or work out how to download them and put them on YouTube. I think I tried to log in the other day. And it was Ruddy Marvelous. The password was spelt wrong. So I need to remember how it was spelt, how we spelt it wrong.
Oh, so you can't find it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll see if I can get in.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have them all in one place, so like they're all sat there, so for everyone to view and see the progression.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just in your riding, but in your filming as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
I don't know how good your screen capture is on your phone, but
true.
You essentially just screen capture the video and release it. It's not like you're breaking your own copyright, is it?
No. Yeah.
I
try and do that because they're fun. And Vimeo's got worse, I think. It used to be, we'd used to upload them to there because the quality was meant to be better, but now I don't think it is really, and it's more complicated to find stuff.
Yeah.
So, I'll get them on YouTube.
Thank you.
Yeah. Homework.
Where are we up to? Where are we up to in your timeline? I'm just looking at the questions that we've got here and wondering if anything. Quickfire one for you, coming in from Will Fox. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about construction?
Construction?
Yeah, construction. You know, like building stuff.
10. It's very important. Without construction, we wouldn't have ramps. We wouldn't have a roof above our head. It's got to be done well. Or, I suppose, maybe the world would be a bit more fun if we just had to build a temporary shelter all the time and move on. It's still construction though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about construction.
Even if you're heaping a bit of mud into a kicker and a landing, it's still constructing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's a necessity.
I think
starting to feel very, very strongly about construction now.
Yeah, thank you, Will, for bringing this up. An underrated word. I don't know if he was trying to reference something there, but I don't think so. I think it's just Will being healthily random.
I'd like to say, I don't know whether, I think we may find out in the future at some point.
We might.
Emlyn, you're not the first to be asked that question.
Okay.
Oh,
I need to listen to more of the podcast.
Oh, no. Well, it's only been a recent thing. It's only been a recent thing.
And then we got any ones?
No, not so far. Everybody's been pretty positive about it so far.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, if they'd have they didn't send the question in for Matt Gaydon and as an architect, I'd have thought it would have been very fitting for them to have sent that in. I say them because Ash Mulholland asked the same question last week. Right. Maybe it's an in-joke that we don't know about. Maybe jokes on us. I think. How can we make a shit podcast even shitter? Let's ask them completely irrelevant questions every week. And what's the most boring sort of one?
Waste more time. Yeah, it probably is that. It just goes to show that I haven't been dedicated with my listening.
You haven't missed a lot, to be fair, mate.
How can it's hard to find this sort of time. We find the time because it's an enjoyment. It's we personally, I get a lot of like inner satisfaction out of doing these.
Yeah,
and they're a lot of fun. But as a listener, to find the time to listen to an hour and a half or 2 hours, unless you're in a car or something like that, where you're maybe on a commute, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of scenario might be okay. So big shout out to all the people on their commutes who are listening, if they're listening on an audio there. Hope you have a good day at work. Hope you've had a good day at work, whichever way you're to or fro.
Yeah, Amon drives more than anyone I know, I think. Well, apart from like truck drivers and stuff. But
I think Ash Mulholland does a lot of driving.
Yeah, I think they're able to tune in quite a bit. I cycle like 10 minutes to work, and then when I am listening to stuff, it's music, obviously, as you probably will.
We'll get onto that. Or should we just get onto it now?
Well, hold up. We mentioned Ash Mulholland there. We've got a question come in from him. Should we get onto him first, and then we'll come straight up to date then with what you're doing for a living and where you're at with other bits. So this question has an accompanying photo. I'm going to play the video first, and then we shall look at the photo after. Okay. Let me double check that I'm all full volume, up on full screen.
Good evening, Emlyn. My question to you is, when you're going up to a quarter pipe to do a trick, right? How do you manage to concentrate on the trick that you're actually going to be doing, whilst at the same time pulling such a sick tongue tweak?
Would you like to see the accompanying
picture? It looks like I'm eating something. Good one.
I
think that's definitely a bit of okra or something there.
Yeah, I've started noticing. I mean, I always knew that I did that, but I can feel. I think usually you're concentrating on the trick so much. Obviously, you don't know what your face is doing until you see the picture. But I was riding today, and I could just feel the burning. And I'm actually concentrating on that more than the trick now. But I think in answer to his question, I usually don't know what I'm doing on a quarter pipe until I'm halfway up it. So,
so you've not thought it through?
Sorry?
You've not thought it through?
Usually not. I mean, obviously sometimes you're trying a certain trick, but most of the time I can't decide. I've got too many tricks I want to try. And then I'm halfway up the quarter pipe and the one that seems the most natural comes out.
Excellent.
And the tongue follows suit.
Thanks, Ash. Well noticed. He notices the little things. He does notice that.
Like the moon and tides, I think. If you point your tongue in that direction, you'll do like a front side spin. Okay. Backside. Your tongue controls the board. They say turn your shoulders first, but you actually have to turn your tongue first.
Oh man! Whilst we're talking tricks and things here, quickly, shall we do it? Let's do another. We've got 2 other trick-related questions. Oh no! Hold up! I've really dropped a bollock here. We've missed a relevant question to Daydream.
Cool.
So we're going to go back here.
Yeah.
This one comes in from Adam David.
Oh yeah.
Scottish Adam. Hopefully we should be seeing him.
No, Adam, who lives in Scotland, but it's not.
Yes, Scotland's not Scottish. It's Irish.
It's Irish. Yeah.
Is he Irish or Northern Irish? Northern
Irish, I believe.
Yeah, so we can get it wrong many times, can't we?
No.
Oh, we don't deal in facts.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to say his surname in case the kids pick it up with their devices.
Here he is with his Daydream Productions related question.
Hey man, question for you. If you were to form a new Daydream Productions crew to go on a road trip and film a video, who would you take with you and where would you go?
Good question, that one, isn't it?
That's a decent question.
It is, and I'm gonna think about it in real life, like who practically. And I think, although he's up in Scotland, I would choose Adam because I really want to film some more stuff with him because I think we have a similar style. I just need to maybe take my heel straps off occasionally. Yeah, kind of like riding the same stuff anyway. So Adam, definitely Amon still. I'd try and drag Ben along, but he's quite settled, I think. He's usually quite busy doing something with his house or in his engineering job. So that's 3 so far. Will Fox, I'd try and make him a member if he passes the initiation test. So Connor and Will are planning to come riding soon. So if they do, then they're in. If they don't,
there's a call out.
So what was the second part? What was the second part of the question? Where would you go, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Location.
Where would we go?
Choose somewhere exotic.
I think, well, we've been talking about this, but I think as a team it would be pretty sick to go to that place in Portugal.
I'm so glad you've said that because again it leads us on.
I'm good at this.
Yeah. To Sintra.
Yeah, let's go with that. I think it'd be fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect choice because Mowgli's sent in a question for you.
This is going slick as fuck tonight.
I tell you what, we've got to do, for those who may or may not know, we've got to do 2 recordings this week because we're away next week. And I got to say, we're barely going to have to ask Beeran a single fucking question ourselves. I don't even know if we're going to have time for his origin story.
Nice.
This is a bit of a dark video.
What, as in like
no.
or just
no, it's not some dodgy snuff movie or something like that. It's just filmed in twilight, you chump.
Yeah, you scared me there.
There you go.
Hey, yeah, what up? And Sloggs, Emlyn, how are you guys? Hope you're fine. Quick question. Do you guys think that males are going to be the next trend on the mountain board scene? Are rails going to be the next trend? Here goes Flip.
Oh.
Yeah. Keep it cheeky, keep it clean. See you, boys. Have a good podcast. Love you all.
That front board was clean. That was nice. That rail looks fun.
They love a fucking rail, don't they, them lot?
Yeah, I just saw a video just before I came on of one of them. I can never really remember who's who, but one of them doing their first backside lip slide. I think it was Antonio.
It was.
It was, yeah. That literally about half hour before we started this, he dropped that, didn't he?
Yeah, broke the internet.
There's not been much on the internet today, so not that that's saying taken away from the sickness of that clip, but yeah, I think I was a bit tired from the weekend. Maybe.
What was his question?
He said, "What's going to be in your opinion? What will be the next trend between rails or manuals?"
Oh right. I do think there's kind of more you can do with rails, so I think it's got to be rails. Although it'd be nice to see more manual tricks. Hopefully both. Hopefully rails and manuals over drag races on an e-board.
straight line drag races down Missenden round the corner on the tarmac.
Oh yeah. Oh, it would be a good place for e-boarding. But yeah, I'm going to say rails, especially the way they're going. I think they've already started that trend.
I think you're right.
Apparently, everyone I've spoke to about going to bugs recently said, I mean, including you, Sloggs, everyone's been learning board slides again, relearning, because I think most people have done them.
Yeah.
Got scared of them. That seems to be a common thing. But the jib looks really good at bugs now. I need to get over. Going to go this week.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, this would be an ideal opportunity for Dan to drop that photo in of you flipping off the.
Yeah, rails.
That is stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Flipping off of what?
Off a rail.
What, off the cannon rail?
Yeah.
Did you do that? Did you do that at Mountfest? Did you?
No, it was one of the ATBA comps, Jack. When Jack started getting into drones, he brought his, one of the kind of like, when drones were quite new, he brought one of those down, and me and Joe Dixon were doing flips off the cannon rail, the kicker rail. I think we did a couple of other tricks. I think Joe got some kind of cork 5, and I think I might have done rodeo. Just mad. It's such a weird feeling. But anyway, Jack flew so close, I could like feel the drone going past my board. Yeah, it was mad. There was a video somewhere. We'll have to ask if he's got it on some dusty hard drive. But
so there's a video as well as that still that we've seen.
Yeah, that's from a video. It was on his. He uploaded it somewhere, but I think he might have like cleaned up his stuff a bit for his show reels and stuff.
We'll ask him. I'm sure he'll be able to dig it out for us if he's still got it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's stunning. I think that's the only word to use for it. It's just amazing.
Cheers. Yeah, that is, well, hopefully I can kind of resurrect that rail a bit. It needs a smoother landing, but then we should be able to do some more stuff like that off it.
I look forward to watching that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good feature. I don't know who made it. Pretty impressive construction. Maybe it was Ash or Will, as they love construction so much.
Where are we at? We're at just over an hour and 20 minutes in at the moment.
Let's go into your other hobby, which has been dropping some shit recently.
Yeah. Yeah, just shitting. I do shit a lot. No, yeah. If you know me, you probably know that I make music. Kind of studied it. Well, like a lot of people, I played guitar and stuff. Was into it. Kind of had tried to do a few little bands with friends and stuff. But then me and my friend at college took it a bit more seriously, like wanted to do gigs and things, and then both found out that you could study songwriting at uni, and we at that point loved writing songs. I didn't study it at like school or college or anything, but decided actually music's way better than all of these crap subjects. Well, photography was good at college, but the other subjects I was doing were a bit boring. So I was like, yeah, gonna change it up, go and study music. And yeah, just got into it, played in some other friends' bands, kind of externally to uni, which is quite nice because I got to kind of get out of Bristol a bit sometimes on the weekends and go around the country. And then...
What sort of music were you playing with those bands?
So there's a guy called Henry Green, which is quite like... He plays guitar, but also kind of produces the stuff that goes with it, like synths and beats and stuff. So quite ambient, quite soft, like sometimes quite emotive. I guess it's singer-songwriter, but it's much more like singer-songwriter, producer. It's all about the kind of intimate sounds and production and stuff. And then the other one was a band called Arden, who's my friend Katie Pearson and her brother Rob. They've been doing music together since they were tiny, and then they changed they called themselves Arden for like 3 years maybe, and played in their band on guitar and keys. It's kind of like folk rock, I suppose, folk rock pop kind of thing. And now Katie's doing more of her own thing, often with help from Rob. But yeah, she's pretty big now, doing really well. And that's where I met Josh, who is now my flatmate. And after we stopped playing in her band for various reasons, mainly just like other commitments, we started Orbury Common, which is what we're doing now still. Oh yeah, because at uni I had my own project, which was just called Emlyn, which is my name, pretty original.
At least you're not going to forget it.
Yeah, and that was me like singing and playing guitar again with beats and stuff to back it up. But now I went off that a bit anyway. I kind of realized I don't know if I like this style of music much. I'm just making it because I kind of know how. So hooked up with Josh after uni. Just started going to each other's houses, making random stuff, and then we started to make that a bit more conceptual based on our interests and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then kind of 2 years down the line decided, well, let's move in together and do it even more seriously, I suppose.
How does you're both working separately, living and perform, now essentially performing as well, as Orbury Common. what's your creative process like? Do you guys just come home from work every night and then just set about making your dinner and then set about making music, or what? Like, because
yeah, we try.
That's got to be quite intense.
Yeah, it can be. To be fair, we actually haven't written anything together properly since before lockdown, because that meant he was in Bristol, I was in Stroud. We weren't really able to go between. So we wrote the EP that we've just released, we wrote that kind of separately. And then we met up to like finish it off and kind of adjust stuff, but we haven't started a song together properly for quite a long time. We've jammed some stuff out recently, but we're going to sit down soon and write something together and see how it goes. But yeah, kind of living together and doing it has definitely made us more productive, because we don't have to like arrange a time or to drive down or get a train and stuff.
Yeah.
But then also it's quite easy to just be like, oh fuck, we've got to do the washing up, or oh shit, we need to shopping. Household stuff. Yeah.
I really rate it. That new EP, I've had that on heavy rotation on the way to and from work. It's better than listening to fucking podcasts, that's for sure. I was like really impressed with it. I like it a lot. It's right up my alley.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah, for those people that haven't heard it, how would you describe Orbury Common?
So
how would you describe your
on the radio,
your concept?
Well, Lauren Laverne herself from Six Music, name dropping. She said Pastoral electronica, which I think fits it quite well. It's kind of electronic. This album especially is quite club music inspired, but kind of finding the meeting point between quite electronic stuff, quite kind of driving sounds, and like more natural sounds, more folky influences, more countryside influences.
Yeah. I think it sort of paints a picture in your imagination as well, pretty well.
Oh, cool.
That type of thing I find.
It's definitely music worth listening to, potentially on headphones or over a good speaker, because there are, like you say, there are a lot of personal sounds within the music that you wouldn't just necessarily hear as background music or what have you. And like I say, your launch that I've seen photos of and a few bits of video from, it's quite a concept as well to the sound.
Yeah,
which is why it's so interesting on so many levels.
Yeah, you pick up the more you listen to it, the more things you pick up.
Yeah, that's always the kind of music that I love. So yeah, thanks. That's really good to hear. Yeah, this one's taken like quite a while to release because we've gone down like the label route. We've just released stuff ourselves before, but this time we were like, quite like this. Should we try and see if a label wants to release it? So that's like quite a lot of kind of not really negotiating, but planning, working on artwork and stuff like that, and then organising stuff like this EP launch. So I was saying earlier that I've had a pretty full-on weekend, and I went riding today as like a nice break, because we're having this big EP launch in Stroud, which meant I missed Mount Fest, sadly, but that was good because it was like, you've probably seen from the pictures, like you're saying, that was like a physical manifestation of all our ideas and interests and stuff. Kind of like a big maypole. We had Morris dancers there, but then it was also in like a big old, it was in a goods shed, like it was attached to the train station, and with a really good speaker system, and we had like rave posters on the wall and stuff. So it was like bringing that folky stuff and kind of quite weird aspects of like British countryside and stuff into it, and then meeting that up with kind of like rave culture. And we had like lots of visuals and DJs and stuff. Yeah, so that felt good actually to do that. There's quite a lot of planning involved, but
it looked freaking awesome.
Yeah, cheers.
It really did.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's a very big step to take, isn't it? I'm really impressed.
Yeah, it's cool.
Two questions with regards to Orbury Common for you.
Okay.
First one is a quick, easy one. When can we buy the merchandise of the little pink fluffy toy?
Well, you can get it on a T-shirt as a print. We've only got a couple left because, yeah, quite a few people bought them on the weekend, which was nice. So we might do another run. The actual toy itself.
My little Suki, she says, Daddy, she says, if I don't get one of those to go to bed with every night, when are they available at Toys R Us?
This year's sought after Christmas present for 7-year-old girls.
That's it. I'm over my Tamagotchi.
It's quite weird. It's got like, it's really not suggestive, but like that one and the red one. For some reason, my flatmate Josh made them like really thick ass and big tits. They're like these weird beasts.
They're cool. I like it.
I like it.
Again, it's another little thing. And the other question was, bro, maybe I'm clutching at straws. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5. Like back in the day, I mean, still do. From time to time, I would listen to bands like the Orbital, you know, and they're all quite into that electronic sound. And now you're Orbury Common.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering, is there something that me as an outsider without the musical knowledge of that genre, is there something to do with the word orb that relates to electronic music?
Yeah, I think I'm safe to say it on this podcast because no one listens to it, but it's actually a secret club. Yeah, we're it's like Freemasons. It's out. No, I reckon it might be like a subconscious interest, something about. So we pictured these like funny little orbs that are almost like, it's very abstract, but almost like these little floating lost memories floating around this weird like landscape. That's why we called it Orbury Common. I feel like, I mean, I guess orbital, the word probably stems from a similar place, you know, just being round. And the orb, I feel we didn't, I think I'd probably heard some of their songs, but we kind of discovered them a bit more after we called ourselves that.
Yeah. That's just a happy coincidence, really.
Yeah, but I feel like just that image of an orb suits that music.
It's quite a nice word to say as well, orb.
Yeah.
Orb.
Especially with your accent.
And I definitely think you're in the right area of the country to be have those sort of opportunities to be able to perform that sort of music and, you know, have it greeted with an audience that are accepting.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd have as much luck if you went down bloody Red Roof Meadery and tried to put a bloody show on like that there. But when you think of the mighties of that electronic scene that have come out of Bristol,
Bristol,
you know, like
the Massive Attacks, the Portisheads,
and like Orteca and
I think
stuff, we've got a good heritage down here, and I think there's definitely a good scene as well, or multiple scenes. I'm actually getting more and more pleased to be in Bristol. Especially, I think like a lot more things are re-emerging or emerging since lockdown, but also Stroud as well. I think Stroud itself is probably a very big influence on our music, because there's a lot of like pagans and a lot of esoteric stuff, and it's very creative. So having our launch there was really good, I think.
Stroud and proud.
Really, yeah, definitely. I certainly am. I love it. Well, I mean, I love most of it. It's sometimes a bit too nice, a bit too middle class, but very creative and also very inclusive. Yeah.
I mean, I must admit, I even just driving through Bristol, you can feel that by looking around and the buildings and the street art that's everywhere in Bristol. It's just and I think the general population, looking at the way the general population would vote and stuff like that in that area, I think it's quite a a very accepting area of the UK.
Yeah, free thinking, definitely like that.
Yeah, and it's great because it's just not too big. It's very easy to get out to the countryside. It's near the only mountain board centre, and it's got decent skate parks. It could have more, I think, but I think we might end up getting some more, hopefully, with the Olympics and stuff.
Yeah. The shame about what's the name of the park that closed down recently?
Rush,
that's it.
So that was right by my house, and for like, I don't know, 6 winters, that's where we'd go, like most Thursday nights. When I was living at home in Chalford, it was in Chalford pretty much. So yeah, that was sad, but also not too sad, because it wasn't like the best skate park. It wasn't like, I really like Ramp World, and Adrenaline Alley looks amazing. I haven't been there recently, but I think if one of them closed down, it would be like devastating. But
was Rush the glass fronted one?
No. It was like orange ramps, orange and grey ramps. I mean, it might have had a bit of glass, but
I saw a skate park tonight in Manchester on a video, and it looked. Sorry, Greystone. Yeah. I tell you what, for a foam pit and resi ramp training area, that one looks really workable. The drop-ins look big enough to be able to actually proper send on it.
Yeah, my girlfriend's in Manchester, so I went there on the skateboard. I went on the bus, so I didn't have my mountain board, but next time I go, I'll take it. And Adam's been there a few times, so I was talking to him about trying to meet kind of halfway, probably a bit further for him, but it looks sick. It was really fun on a skateboard.
I bet.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I've got one more viewer's question. As such, and then I think we're probably onto current ride and Sloggs' 10.
Yeah.
Right. So the last question is let me get it up here, is another video question, and has been sent in very good from Andrew Brind.
Oh, the legend.
Hold on, let me skip that back to the start.
Better looking brother, I think we can say that for sure.
Right, here we go.
I think that's the first time anyone's ever been nice to him on here.
Hey, what?
I think that's the first time anyone said they'd been nice about Matt.
Oh, I missed it. Never mind. I'll edit it out or something. There we go.
G'day fellas, Andy Brind here. Hope you're all doing well. Got a brand new, fresh, original question for you. Original recipe. Emlyn, who's got the best 360 quintuple tap indie? The only two able to do it, I believe, are me and you. So between me and you, original question, brand new question, never heard before question. I look forward to the answer, please.
Well, he said,
I love that. I've watched that about 3 or 4 times. It cracks me up.
The drama. Well, Andy says in that video that he believes that me and him are the only people to do it, but he didn't believe that I did it in our competition, the ladder.
Yeah.
Very contentious competition. And at the time, well, I haven't listened to his episode yet, so you might have to fill me in on what his answer to that question.
I don't know. Well, I'm kind of disappointed you haven't watched it, because that was your question to him. You asked a bloody question.
Yeah, you don't want to hear the answer. All right,
click on the link below.
But I'm going to have to give an answer, and I would say I'm going to have to say his, because that's the one that people believed was legit. So obviously,
that's
it was
very nice of you, and non-egotistical there, Emlyn.
I mean,
if that question had come in and I was in your seat, I'd have gone, well, without a doubt, 100% me. But then that's just because I'm an overconfident, arrogant prick at times.
I think if you find the video of the ladder, all the comments will.
Maybe you should have used more tongue action.
Oh, yeah, that's where I went wrong. I was meant to tap my lips with my tongue. I didn't realise that.
So yeah, I suppose only other question before Sloggs is 10 sees us out is what, Sloggs, do you want to ask it? It's your question normally.
Well, is it, yeah, right? What's your current setup? What are you riding at the moment? Yeah. And I want all of it.
Yeah,
cool. It down.
I actually left it in the car. I should have brought it up. So it is a Hero David, Polish David, his deck.
Polish David.
His surname. Yeah, that Hero one, which is really good, and MBS F5 bindings and heel straps, MBS Matrix trucks with the orange shock blocks, so the new Matrix trucks, MBS T1 tires, and MBS plastic white Rockstar hubs.
Nice.
I think they're like the new hubs.
Are you rocking the Leon Doves?
Yeah, got to have the mod. Yeah, I didn't realise that for a while. I've split quite a lot of those shock blocks. I actually just replaced some today. I think the mod has meant I've split them less, and the trucks have felt a lot more solid. I've got the orange ones. I ride my trucks really loose, as most people who have stepped on my board will know, or even seen me go around a berm or something. But I might get the red ones because they do split quite a lot. I tried to, and ATB shop was sold out, so still on the orange, which makes it easier. I have to readjust.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a really good board. I've got the old Hero, which has like a bit of delamination, which I blame Amon for, because he made me go the wrong way at Cleve and I landed on a rock. I think it still works okay, so I might. And now I doubt. Wow, do you know if Ted listens to this podcast?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't see him listening regularly. But anyway, he gave me a good deal on my e-board, but I think I'm going to try and convert it. Keep some tramper parts, but convert it to the Hero.
Right.
So I've got double Hero.
Just give him a ring now.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be too curious. I just feel like, got to rep the tramper decks, but I don't want to.
Those Heroes, they are a good deck. They are a good deck.
Yeah. I was just seeing.
There's no denying it.
I was eyeing them all up at Mount Fest this weekend. Yeah. I put my foot in one, and I was just like, "Ooh."
I'm hoping that Phil will come on at some point. We have broached the subject, and there's an agreement, but we haven't set an appointment.
Nice. Yeah, so he kindly gave me, Adam, and Matt one. Just paid for a bit of shipping, which is really nice of him.
Man.
Yeah, it's great. So I got the reduced e-board from Tramper. I got the free deck from Phil. And last time I asked Tom Beaton at MBS, he gave me free stuff. So that was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, but maybe. I like to think that I'm half sponsored by all of them.
That's it.
Red shocks off him.
Yeah. Just being a little mountain board slut.
You're one of mountain boarders nice guys. You're not one of the shit talkers, Emlyn.
Yeah. Had about half an hour with Sonny earlier.
That's enough.
You just turn off to him. That's what I do.
No, it was hilarious.
I'm looking forward to seeing him on the weekend.
But yeah, with the board also, another thing to note for the nerds is that I've got the trucks on the inside position. No, yeah, is that right? Yeah, so it's like shorter, higher off the ground.
Interesting.
And I've got my bindings quite far in compared to other people. A lot of people like a much wider stance, like a longer deck. I just like being really high off the ground and like quite whippy. And I think I'm quite used to skateboarding as well. So,
what height are you, out of interest?
5'11".
So you're not small then?
No, not really. Well, not tall, not small.
No, but you're not like miniature like some certain people. You look scruffy as fuck.
Like Sonny.
You said it, not me, for a change. Right, should we get into my 10 set?
Yeah, go for it.
Right. Reg or goof?
Regular.
Right. Mountain board park or free ride?
Park. Yeah.
Pump track or skate park?
Skate park.
Is that what about on the E?
On the E-board, pump track. Yeah. Skate parks are pretty hard on an E-board.
But you do rip it up on a pump track on those E-boards.
Yeah, I love them on both boards. Kind of a whole different topic, but yeah, I love skate parks and pump tracks, but like the place where I can do the most tricks is where I'm happiest. So skate park. Yeah.
Board across or freestyle?
Freestyle. Same reason.
You're not too shabby on a board across, really, are you?
I don't know. I usually do all right in the kind of qualifiers, and then like as soon as I've got a race against one of the big boys like Bieran or Matt or Andy or Ben, I just kind of go to shit. Just get scared.
The bigger boys are here.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see at Bugs. It'll be fun to give it another go.
Flip or spin?
Spin.
Is that always been?
Well, for a long while, because they're what I did first, but I do love a tiny little flip. Like, the smaller the better when it comes to a flip. Although big ones are fun too. I just love all the tricks. Actually,
you took yourself from one answer into the other then.
It's got to be both, if that's possible, because
Cork
5 or a rodeo then.
Best board across track?
I think it's probably got the most votes, but Out to Grass was insane. The one that we went to in France, though, was really good. I don't know what the centre's called, but we went there on the same trip as when we went to LA. And it's got this really weird bit where you basically have to like stop because it's such a steep berm. You have like everyone kind of power slides down the hill on it. Then after that, it's so nice, like through the woods. So wherever that is, that's probably the best one that's still going, in my opinion. I haven't been to Serbia though. Yeah.
We'll find out the name of that one. Can you think of it?
HXC, is it?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think it was some initials, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly where it is.
Yeah, it was great. I think there's plans to go to the French Champs, so I want to get down to there if I manage to go. It was really cool. Just nice going through the woods. I think everything feels faster when you've got trees going past you.
It certainly does.
Yeah, like off-piste kind of thing.
Favourite centre, past or present?
Bugs boarding.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, it got to be. I mean, it's still going strong. And it's so sad that all the other centres have closed. I really loved all of them. Like, loved going out on trips to them all, to the competitions. But it's also kind of the silver lining is that now everyone comes to Bugs.
Yeah.
And,
home turf for you.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
But favourite trick to watch someone else do?
Ooh. That's hard. I mean, the first thing that came into my head was Tom Kirkman doing a frontside 3 with like a stale fish.
Yeah, the classic boned, like proper tweak boned out.
Yeah. Back foot boner.
Favourite trick for you to do? What's your favourite trick to lay down?
Oh, I mean, it might be the same one, but I think in recent years, I've only done it once, but one of the ones I was really stoked about was switch. I think it's a switch lip slide 270 out. Doing a 270 out of a trick just feels really cool. I really want to do some more rail tricks, but that one felt like a breakthrough, but I need to do it again now.
We'll have to have source a few more polypipes for the Bugs jib area.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go up on Thursday and probably try that trick if I remember on that exact pipe that I made. It's good.
I look forward to seeing that. Last question. Favourite rider?
I think most people have said Tom Kirkman, but yeah, I definitely looked up to him a lot. And I've been watching videos of him recently, and just kind of, no one's exaggerating when they're saying about how steezy he was and how natural he took to it. Yeah, there's so many other good riders though. Can't think of any because Tom Kirkman's way better than them all. I'm joking. In more recent years, it's been sick to watch Dylan Moran do all the street stuff. Like, that's next level. And also, yeah, I know he's like one of my bezies, but I love watching Amon ride because he just always goes so big. He's sick on the e-board as well. Like, kind of will always kind of take a jump to his maximum point, which is cool. I think he gets that from Rennie.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
That was Rennie's key to success, wasn't it? Everything's easier if you go bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
More time to correct a fuck up if you're going bigger.
Yeah. There was that quote. Yeah, it was written on a fridge door or something. And me and Rennie were doing wallies over it on our skateboards. Maybe that's another story, but yeah, it said that, what you just said, like, I'm trying to think the exact wording, but yeah, it was like the faster you go, the easier it is, or something like that. Yeah, nutter, absolutely nutter.
Well, dude, we're encroaching the last little section here now.
Yeah, time flies.
Is there anything that you can think of that we've missed out, or that you would like to talk about whilst you've got the airtime?
No, I don't think so. Really,
I mean, I'm sure
we talked about
the moment we stop this, there'll be all these things of, we could have talked about that, or will come flooding into your mind.
Yeah.
Any shout outs to anyone in particular?
Yeah, definitely shout out to AJ.
Never happy with any of these sick tricks. But then that's what makes a perfectionist, you know?
It'd be amazing if you could get him on the podcast, AJ Watkins.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to him for a while. I think I'll have to drop him a text or something, see what he's up to. But he did
put a good word in for us.
Yeah, good idea. I think the last time we all saw him was at the champs last year. Was it the championships or EBIT? One of the two. And we were during one of your capacities, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was nice to see him. But he's I mean, when he was kind of in his prime, like running MBS in the UK and Max Track and stuff, and doing bug sporting as well, and he was a really good rider in his own right. I think he's like I said, him and Bugs kind of were really dedicated to Bugs, so they'd stay there quite a lot, and not be regulars at the competitions at that point. I think he's underrated.
Yeah. I gotta say, given that we had similar roles, I always looked to. I probably wouldn't even know, but I looked to him as the benchmark for what I should be doing and how I should be riding as such. And I only ever raced him once, and he beat me. So
Yeah.
I never had another opportunity. So I've never had an opportunity to avenge that. But like I say, that respect for him, you know, from afar, of like, he's a shit hot rider, he's got a shit hot team, and he's doing really well with bug sporting, you know, and getting the word out.
Yeah, he did do really well. Yeah, took a bit of a step back from it. He has taken a step back from it now. So also massive shout out to Bugs and Nina for I think it's been, I mean, I don't know how they do financially and stuff, but the fact that it's still open, there's still lots of kids there every weekend.
All credit to them for that.
Yeah, big love to Bugs and Nina for putting hard work in and keeping it all going.
Yeah, shout out to my parents for driving me around. Shout out to my girlfriend Polly for being a legend and a good roller skater as well. And
she a quad skater, is she?
Yeah, she's really into that, and really into bouldering, climbing and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, that's quite good. That was a lockdown thing. Obviously pretty handy because the main activity for us became going to skate parks. Went to Barcelona recently. That was cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's anyone who doesn't really. I've mentioned Amon enough. Don't talk about him anymore. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I know he gets a bad rep, but Matt Brind is always. He does do a lot as well for the sport. Organising everything.
Everybody in the UK owes that fucking guy a debt of gratitude for the work. And all the ATBA team members over the years deserve.
They've all been given shit, haven't they?
They've all been given shit. They all relentlessly put in the hard work and time for our pleasure. So
definitely. Like the other day
when people.
Yeah, when Matt rented out Ramp World for us all to have that shred, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. really like just keeping it going, I think, and pushing the boundaries, Matt and Andy with the tricks, which is great because that makes us all, keeps us all on our toes.
That's it. That's it. Gives us something to work towards.
Dreams and aspirations.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's probably more the truth.
Yeah, and thanks to you guys. Wow, it's like an acceptance speech. But yeah, I think it's been said on pretty much every episode that I've listened to, but this podcast has been great, as you know, for getting everyone back into the sport. I'm sure by now it's kind of, it must be at least in the double figures of people who've started riding again because of this, because of being on it or listening to it. And every time I listen to it, I want to go mountain boarding. So that's probably why I haven't listened to many.
I think that's the best thing I've ever heard. Yeah. Every time I want to listen, it makes you want to go mountain board. That's the best thing I've ever heard about the dirt. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we've always made videos and stuff. It's just because, well, that's why I've made videos, because at the end of the session, it's like, oh, I don't want to stop mountain boarding, but I've got to go home. It's dark.
I've got to go bed.
But I really want to look at the videos now and keep that kind of channel it in that creative way.
Keep the stoke.
Yeah.
Well, like to say, mountain boarding owes us nothing. We all owe mountain boarding, and it's a way to give back, and that.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, it's like when we're sitting around the campfire at the events, chatting shit, and kind of wishing we could do that every weekend. Well, now we can. We can do it every week.
That's it. And we encourage people to bring in that, to send in those questions. So hopefully it feels a bit inclusive. Maybe that's the key.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's nice.
Anyhow, dude, right, we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Cheers. Yeah, that went so quick. It's crazy.
Boom. We're out of here.
Right.
Congratulations if you made it to the end, listeners.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. See you later, gents.
See you next week.
Cheers. Take it easy, man.
Way aye, man. That was dead canny as out, that like. Cheers for tuning out to listen. Now, before you gan yem, don't forget, if you want to keep getting doing with the Dorty Dort fun, like and subscribe. Get amongst it. Shy Ben's getting out.